right. Here we go. So many good. How many times can I say good in a row? So it was like it just got caught and kept coming. So many good things are happening right now. I wanted to run through some stuff with you, kind of give you a little bit of a prep of what's to come for Black Friday. Which seems wild to me that that is coming already, but it's coming because Thanksgiving is next week. And Black Friday actually starts this Friday. And so I'm going to kind of go over that stuff with you. But I know right now in the crazy active season, with everything happening, sometimes it can feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many things. And am I breaking up for you guys? Yeah? No? Yes? Okay. Um, I'll try to watch it. I don't know if it's internet or what it's doing, or maybe it's my computer because it sounds like it's going to fly away. But I know what it's like sometimes in these seasons of life where it's active, right? It's busy. There's 1,000 things going on in our own personal lives, kids, sports, shopping, dinners are starting, all the things. Here's what I'm going to tell y'all. Overwhelm will always breed more overwhelm, and your mindset matters. I'm going to say it one more time. Overwhelm breeds overwhelm, and your mindset matters. Okay. Because in these seasons, if you get into the team chat and you're like, oh man, there's 99 messages and I don't know what to do, or now there's one more new thing coming and I just can't keep up with it. Y'all, in those moments, you have a choice. You have a choice to just send a quick message like, hey, what can I do to catch up? I've been gone all day. Just give me a brief synopsis of what needs to happen so that we can get you going again. Or you can just sit in that overwhelm. It is always a choice. But I'm going to tell you, I've seen this happen for the last 9 years. If you decide to show up now and show up consistently and do the things that we know to do, you will grow. Because this is out of all of the times of the year, this is when people start really paying attention to gut health. Why? Because everybody's downing sugar right now and everybody is ready to start something for the new year. And so if you are the one that's posting consistently, guess what? They're coming to you. So some of the things that we're going to go over tonight is just kind of prepping you for all of that and getting you going, getting you started. If you haven't been consistent, it's okay, but don't keep waiting. Just like we tell people, you don't want to wait for the new year to start with your health for 2 days, right? You've got Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner. You don't want to wait for the next 60 days to go by to be able to start. You don't want us to do that with your business either. So a couple of dates to mark down. If you are local or you can get here December 14th, it's posted in the team page. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but sip and simmer at my house Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. And if you need information about that, let me know. We had so much fun at the plant and sip on Saturday, just being able to be together, have people in our space. If you are not local, put on your own event. Right? Sam, you're like, oh my gosh, perfect timing for me saying that. I wish you were local too. And you probably, I know your personality. You're like, I feel so seen and called out right now. Good. I'm calling you out. I know that you're in a really busy season right now. Like you're getting ready to have a baby, all the things. But I don't ever want to see any of you play it small because you're not in a space with a bigger team or an upline. You know, your upline isn't super active or whatever that looks like. You don't need that stuff to grow. You just need to make a decision to be able to show up. That's how this entire team got started, y'all, because we just made this decision to start showing up. So make that decision.
I really
So that's December
behind that.
15th.
I just thought it was.
January 11th, I'm going to just say this real quick as far as Super Saturday stuff, because I want to get to a couple of other things. If you registered for the convention and the $99 ticket that was like the dual ticket, so you could do convention and Super Saturday, you do not need to pay again for Super Saturday. Registration links and emails went out today. If you already paid, all you need to do is switch to the Wellsboro location if that's where you're going to be. I know Colleen is in Michigan, and there's a location in Grand Rapids too. Samantha, there's one in Nashville. I don't know what that looks like for you because of dates and times and all of that stuff, but Alita is hosting in Nashville. You can 1000% go to that. So anybody can come to the East Coast location. It's not just our team, but there are a certain number of tickets and you have to get those tickets. So even if you're planning on coming to Wellsboro and you have not registered yet, you have to register through Plexus to get into the Wellsboro event. Okay. So your teams, all the things, if you're not on that registration list, you won't be able to get into the event because we only have 200 spots. And so you've got to be able to register. Even if you think like, man, I'm hoping that I'll be able to come, register for the 1995, select Wellsboro as the location, and regardless, then you're still going to get the link. And you're also going to get all of the stuff that Plexus does throughout that day. Those of you that have done Super Saturdays before, like they give free memberships, they've done discount codes, they've done extra things back. So you want to get registered. Any questions about that before we move on?
Do you get the same stuff if you do the virtual?
Yep. Yes. So even that's what, like for you, Samantha, register for the virtual so that you have it. But if you think that you can get to the Nashville one, register there. And even if you can't get there, you still get the link and you still get all of the stuff. I'm a huge, huge proponent of being in person with people during these things rather than watching on your computer by yourself. Just because when we do that, we're not as in tuned. At least I'm not. I'm like up doing laundry, all of this stuff. And if it snows and you can't make it in person, which I know is a real concern for the East Coast, you'll still have access to everything. So, Ange, good question. If she registers for Wellsboro, she lives a couple of hours away. Jillian, I don't think there is anything in South Dakota, but I can check. If you register for an in-person and then something happens with weather and you can't get there, you still get the link, you still have access to everything. But if you don't register for an in-person and then the weather is perfect, you're not going to be able to get in. So it's better to like register for the in-person and not be able to go than, does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's the timeline of things that are happening on our team right now and how I want you guys to kind of be ready. Unmute at any point in time, ask all the questions. But I want to make sure that everybody is good to go because Black Friday actually starts this Friday. And I know that we have a lot of stuff going on right now because I want to be able to give options to everybody where you're at. So in our team page, you might have noticed tonight that I posted a $500, like how to make $500 in the next 2 weeks with Plexus. If you have anybody that is interested in making money, ask them, put them in that chat. You do not personally have to join that chat. It's not one more thing that everybody has to do. If you want specific steps, like maybe you struggle with posting in stories or having specific outreach messages to send to people, by all means join it. That's what that group is going to be. So kicking off tomorrow, helping them invite to our event tomorrow night and breaking down the steps to go silver and beyond for every single person that wants it. We have so many people right now that are really getting going with the business because y'all are doing an amazing job telling them about it. And so that group is going to just be like basic, simple steps to not overwhelm people. I'm going to post in there in the morning. I'll post in there in the afternoon, and then in the evening so that it's not overwhelming for people. All right, here's the outline of what's going on this week. So Tuesday night, you guys can screenshot this if you need to. Tuesday night is a chat event. This is an add-in. This was not in the featured post or the calendar in our team page. I just saw a need for it because I've got some people that really want to be able to start sharing. And so I added in an extra event for, for the people that I have, and I wanted to open that up for the whole team. So Tuesday night, tomorrow night, chat event at 8:30. Thursday is going to be a Zoom. I'm leading that as well. It's at 8:30 and that's product based. And then Sunday is the opportunity Zoom at 8:30. So there is something to invite people to throughout the week. You can pick and choose, you can add your people in, even if you've got stuff going on. That's the best part about this team. We have been told that the early bird Black Friday specials start this Friday. So it's not going to be another like the flash discounts that we have. I have no idea what they're going to be. We have a jewel preview later in the week, and so I will find out. But the timeline that we were given is that something is happening the 22nd through the 27th, and then actual Black Friday is late this year, the 29th and the 30th. So I wanted to give you guys a way to really be able to reach out and to have everybody ready for this stuff. If
So
you have not, oh, go ahead.
there's potentially two different like specials for Black Friday.
There could be. Good
Okay.
question. I have no idea, Sam. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same thing. Typically, what they've done in the past is they have done like a Black Friday special, and then they've done a Cyber Monday special. Because the 29th and the 30th ends the month and it's after subscriptions, I see them doing something extra then, but I don't know what that is yet. And so I just want to help you guys prep from what we've seen in the last years. And then I'll know more going forward to kind of help you prep after I find out at the meeting that we have later in the week. But the original timeline that they gave us at the beginning of the month was something would be launching this Friday. And then there's like a break over Thanksgiving because they don't want people on their phones on Thanksgiving. And then something else the next day after that. Okay, so these are the lists. Screenshot this. I know I have been telling y'all this over and over and over and over and over again in the chats. These are key lists to have because I know that so many of you this month either want to get to the Christmas cash and the extra $600. You want to be able to rank or add people so that you can get that cruise in February. These lists are really important. So the first list, people that haven't ordered yet. If you do not have a running list, top tips for this, go to your phone. You can do this right now if you want to try it. Go to Messenger. And instead of typing in somebody's name, type in reset or type in plexus or type in products. Keywords that maybe people have messaged you. Like sometimes if I'm out and about, somebody will message me. I don't write it down in my notes or take a screenshot of it and I forget about it. So once a week, I do that. I go into my messages, I type in plexus, I type in products, keywords that people would message you if they were interested. And it helps to jog my memory on who has messaged me that I didn't follow up with or that has messaged me and maybe I have followed up with, they just haven't ordered yet. Second list, people that are loving their products that you can help them get their +1. I can tell you firsthand because I'm seeing y'all do this. Wendy has been doing this really, really well in her three-way chats. And I know because I'm seeing it because I'm in her three-way chats with her, messaging people just with that message that I put in our team chat and saying, hey, I don't know if this says you're interested in this or not, but this is the potential that you can make for this month. And I just wanted to send it over to you. We're having a chat this week. I'd love to add you to it. And then if you have anybody else that's interested, we can add them too. I think she has 4 people right now. Baker already added a bunch of people to that team chat, the $500 one, because same thing. She's been doing that. Nickie been doing that too. Make sure that you're edifying, y'all. So many of us are so willing to follow up over and over and over again about the products, but we're not willing to do that with the business. The business is the same thing, and it's actually more repeated exposures. Okay. People that haven't ordered in a while, if they have not ordered in 6+ months, their account can get cleared out and they're eligible for a free reset. And then those people that fall underneath of those thresholds with 50 PV or 100 PV. So like I have one girl that only ever orders ProBio. Every single month she orders ProBio. And so she's always underneath that 50 PV. So you better bet every single time that there's a special, I message her because that helps to bump up, right? The more PV, if once they get to that 100 PV threshold, it really, really helps with the points, especially for those of you that are really wanting to rank up this month. I'm not going to read through these messages word for word, but these are for people that haven't ordered recently. Make them yours. Don't just like, if this is not your copy, don't use it. I was helping Rye draft a message for one of her teachers, and I know that I do not talk the way that Riley talks. And so she had to like make it her copy, right? If you send out a message that says, hey girl, or hey y'all, or hey boo, or hey sis, or whatever that is, and you've never said hey boo in your life, they're going to be like, delete, next, right? Don't do that if it's not you. But make sure that you're letting people know, hey, Black Friday is coming this week. I want to make sure that you know about that. Let me pull up the chat really quick. So screenshot these. Gina, we will help you with PV. That's the product value. Mina and I, we can jump into our team chat so that you know all about that right after. Good question. Okay. Current VIPs. This is just another spin on it, what we were just talking about. Screenshot this. Take the time to send this to every single one of your people. You might think that they're seeing stuff in our team pages or in the messages that they get from me or emails from Plexus. They're not. How many emails do you get every single day that you never open? Like hundreds, right? Because we sign up for everything and every single discount, and then we just hit delete. People are doing that with Plexus emails. And then current VIPs that are underneath of that 100 PV threshold. And again, I don't know what this deal is, but the whole point of this is to let people know ahead of time so that they can plan and get excited about it, and that you can make those lists of the people that are interested so you can reach out to them. I promise you guys, what you put into this is what you're going to get back. So when I say make lists, when I say make sure that you're posting in your stories and you're reaching out to people, make sure that you're taking the time to do that. So many of us think like, oh, I want to be able to make an extra $1,000 this month. I want to be able to go on that cruise. I want to be able to go to the Alaska cruise, whatever that is, but we're not willing to treat this like a job. And so you always have the choice. If you need help with it, reach out so that we can help you. Does anybody have any? I know I talked really, really fast. Does anybody have any questions about any of that stuff or anything specific? Okay. I'm going to put Nickie on the spot just for a second. I don't know if y'all have been watching her, if you have been following her stories, or even just seeing the way that she posts and shows up on Facebook. She will sweep the cruise. She is really close to the $2,000 shopping spree. And when I say that, listening to her and seeing her, I even told her husband this weekend when they were at my house, she makes me emotional and makes me cry, and not because she's like beating me up or doing anything mean, but just because being able to watch how far she has come in this is absolutely incredible. And I will tell you that I know that y'all see her. We're not going to talk just specifically about the vendor events, but in coaching Nickie, we meet every single week. Every week on Tuesday, we meet, we go through stuff. The things that Nickie was praying for and exhausted about not having people to be able to reach out to 6 and 8 months ago, thinking that she was like at the end of her rope and that she didn't have anywhere to expand to, she absolutely took advice. She is so coachable, and she started doing vendor events and had. Nickie, how many did you sponsor last month?
Last month, I think 6.
And this month already, and she's got new shares coming in. She's doing events at her house. She's going and doing, and I mean, vendor events after vendor events. So I'm going to ask her a couple of questions, and I just want you guys to listen and just not don't do the comparison piece of it. Like, oh, well, if I had a vendor event, I would go do that. She found ways to start showing up. And that's why she's in such massive momentum right now and growing the way that she's growing, because she fought through all of the stories. And when you look at Nickie's stories and the posts and her going live, Nickie, let's start there. The first time that I ever asked you to go live or said, like, hey, that would be helpful, what was your immediate thought afterwards?
Nope. Not gonna do it.
Because why?
I am scared of talking in front of people. I would have taken an F in school instead of talking to somebody up front
So why did you start doing it?
because I knew that that was the step I needed to do to go farther.
What does it mean to you to go further? Can you dive into that just for a hot second? Like what keeps you going?
I personally love to see myself grow. Like I continually have to see myself grow. For myself, it's my avenue to get out of being with my kids all the time, and having something else. Also, with the extra money, it gives us traveling money. Right now, it gives me, I might cry. My son is costing a lot of money, and I'm paying for it through Plexus. Like his swimming lessons are $50 a week, and I am able to pay for them through Plexus. And there are so many things that as a family we don't need, but Plexus can give it to us.
Yeah. So for those of y'all that don't know, and I'll cry for you, Nickie, Nickie's son was just diagnosed. Can I share this
Yes.
openly? Okay. Nickie's son, Carson, was just diagnosed on the autism spectrum. And this is something that has been on Nickie's heart for years, to be able to just go through and be able to help him and do the things. And when I say, y'all, that you don't know what's coming, Nickie is such an example of that. And when she's been sharing with me how much it's been costing to go through and to do the testing and to be able to go through and have the extra stuff, those are the things that we pray never happen. But when it does happen, and for her to just be like, you know what, we got this and we can do this. And for her and Vince to be able to go on a cruise together and for their marriages, those are the things, y'all, that if you can keep on tapping into, that save marriages, that help kids, that help us be able to fulfill things. And so when you watch Nickie's stories and when you see like, man, that girl has so much confidence, and Nick, you do, like, you come across that way to anybody that doesn't know the inner workings of how hard you have had to work to overcome those things. And so I hope that y'all see her as an inspiration the way that I do when you watch her and when you're doing those things. Nickie, one more thing. Can you just walk somebody through your ideal day, or not your ideal day, what your day is like, so that nobody's like, oh, hey, she's got tons of extra time because she's a stay-at-home mom?
So I stay up late at night, so I don't get up till 7:15 or 7:30 because I wake my son up at 7:30. I have 15 to 20 minutes where we sit on the couch and I will message people sometimes. Sometimes I just have to like get my brain to even work in the morning, because I'm not a morning person. But I'll sit there and I'll do messages, or I work my stories and on posting mainly is what I do in the mornings. And you'll catch me scrolling. And then I get my son on the bus, and depending on Carson's schedule, usually he'll wake up right then. We sit on the couch together. He likes to cuddle for 15 to 20 minutes. So then I'll sit on the couch and I'll send more messages, while he's trying to take the phone out of my hands because he doesn't like me to do anything when I'm holding him. But anyways, and then I get up and get him ready for school. And then I drive him to school if I don't have appointments for him. When I have appointments for him, I'm driving a half hour away or something. I will voice message people as I'm driving because my mind just keeps going. And so I use that as an opportunity to message people, voice message them as I'm driving him to his appointments. And then I come home, I exercise, and then they start coming home from school. So I don't get anything done. Then I have supper with the kids. And then we kind of just interact with the kids for a while, and I'll send some messages if I can. And then Landis goes to bed at 10. And so then I message people from 10 to 11 or 10 to midnight. And then it starts all back over. And then like my vendor shows and stuff, like I've been doing 3 to 4 a month between vendor shows and people, like events at my house or events at my other people's house.
Yeah. And on top of that, they do pumpkins and they have chickens and eggs and farm work. And I mean, she left all of that out. And so, what I want you guys to see too, Nickie is probably one of the busiest people that I know. And if you've ever been blessed to be around either of her boys, they are boys. Like they are young and they are busy and they don't stop. And so, I want y'all to know that anybody that's doing this, it looks completely different, right? I think that sometimes it's so easy to look at people and think like, oh man, they've got hours. Like, Nickie, do you think you've ever been able to sit down and work plexus for like a solid 3 hours during the day?
No.
Never,
Nope.
right? I mean, it just, that's not her schedule. That's not what works for her. And that's okay. And what we want y'all to see is that it's got to be in the nooks and crannies sometimes as you're growing. But if you have a will and you have a why, you'll find a way. And she finds a way, right? It's not about not being busy. It's because she's busy that she has to plug in. And she plugs everybody into the community and never uses it as an excuse. Like, I don't know that there's one person, Nickie's my level 3, I think we've figured out. She plugs every single person into a 3-way chat with me and does all of the follow-up there with people because then they see the community. Find your why and know that you're not always going to stay motivated. Nickie, are there days where you wake up and you're like, yeah, not today? Just
Yeah,
don't
like
do anything.
the last vendor show I told Brie, I said I had a party the night before and I was like, I did not want to go. I was like, I don't want to go. I kicked myself out of bed. I packed my stuff in my truck and I went. And that vendor show was like one of my best vendor shows. And I, I signed 2 people up and I came home and I was like, I told my husband, I just don't want to talk to anybody right now. It's like I'm all peopled out. But yeah, you got to push yourself when you don't want to do it. That's when you have to do it harder.
Yeah. And it's paying off in huge, huge ways. Like not losing rank, being able to help people and finding the reasons why you're doing this. And now, I mean, to be able to have a cruise, that's something her and Vince never would be able to do and take the time. And then the extra shopping spree, like I know Nickie, she would never, ever, ever go and spend money on herself. Like it's just not in her to be able to have the extra and to be able to do those things. I hope that y'all can see that. That this is not just something that you show up and do once in a while if you want the true residual income. But when you know why you're doing it, you're going to keep showing up. Like you don't have to have somebody standing over you hovering to keep you motivated. And it's sending lots of messages. And Nickie could talk for hours about how she's felt rejected sometimes in this and the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs, just like every single one of y'all could. But when you stay consistent, that's when you see the big picture piece at the end. Okay, I know it's 9 o'clock. Nickie, thank you for that. Y'all, will you jump over and just in our team chat so that she can read down through it? Go tell Nickie thank you. And one thing that really stuck out to you tonight about her jumping on. And this is huge growth too, because I just messaged her last night and was like, hey, can I ask you a few questions tomorrow? And she didn't even throw up when I asked her. I mean, that in and of itself is huge, huge growth. Y'all, plug into the events. They're there for you. If you're getting to events, and I do this too, like last night, opportunity event, guess how many people I invited? 0. And then I got there and I was like, why didn't I plug into this? You're not going to have the growth if you're not actually sending the messages. All right. We love you guys. Let's do this. Good night, everybody.